Or shot fire, officer down, shot fire, officer down. Got a city officer down, shot fire.
223, be advised, we have a visual on enemy paratroopers at grid Papa uniforms.
Welcome to the Resilient Warrior Nation, a podcast dedicated to inspiring hope and healing for first responders, military veterans, and anyone facing PTSD and trauma. Hey guys, welcome to another podcast episode of the Resilient Warrior Nation. I'm your host, Mike Morgan, and as usual, I'm very excited about today's guest. First, I'd like to explain why I wear the shirt. This is not a proclamation. Unafraid is the name of a company owned by a man named Eddie Penny. I did not realize as I sat down to watch a podcast episode of the Sean Ryan Show in the spring of 2023 that he would actually, Eddie Penny would change my course of my entire life. Easy for me to say. But at that time, I had been struggling with a little anger, depression, rage. I had been retired as a police officer, the job I had done for about 30 years, about a year prior to this podcast episode. And, just been experiencing little bouts of anger, depression, rage, was not sure of the origin. And as I watched this podcast episode, Eddie was recounting the story of the Extortion 17 incident, which a Chinook was shot down in Afghanistan, killing all 38 aboard, including 17 SEALs. It was the largest loss of community in one event ever. Eddie was speaking about losing his best friend, Jason Workman, in the accident, or I should say incident. And simultaneously, I began thinking about a call I had buried 5 years before about a 2-year-old girl found floating in a pool that I received. And as Eddie told the story, and he was upset telling it, rightly so, I began crying like a baby as I thought about this call, and quickly put two and two together, realized I had suffered some sort of PTSD in my career, and knew I needed help. Didn't want to live the rest of my life out hating everyone and everything like I've seen so many times before. So I wasn't sure about the healing modality that I was going to choose at that point. I didn't think traditional therapy was going to do it for me in that instance. So I had heard about psychedelic medicines from or on Sean's podcast and others, mostly spoken about by special forces operators who coming back from war, self-professed broken men. I kind of dismissed them at first and then really started paying attention after watching that podcast episode involving Eddie Penny. Decided that ayahuasca was calling me. Journeyed with it a little over 2 years ago. It literally changed the entire course of my life. As I was coming out of the first journey, the universe and I were having a talk. I know it sounds weird if you never use these medicines, but the universe told me that my life's purpose, after healing me from the PTSD, my life's purpose was to go forth to help other first responders and vets heal their traumas and PTSD issues. I said okay out loud, having no idea how I was going to implement any type of plan, but I decided to start a podcast to do for others what Sean Ryan's did for me. And in that, I bring on mostly first responder veterans and military veterans who tell their stories, their highest of highs, lowest of lows, in the hopes that you men and women who are currently going through it can identify with them and get some hope and inspiration to heal. So in that vein, I want to introduce my next guest. He is Michael Leal. Mike grew up in Syracuse, New York, and joined the U.S. Army in May 2009 after a heroin overdose. He later became an Army Ranger in the 2nd Ranger Battalion and worked in JSOC, that is Joint Special Operations Command, and JCU, which is Joint Communications Unit. Mike had 6 deployments in his 8-year military career. Mike was also a bodybuilding and lifestyle coach for 8 years, and he also trained dogs and was the owner of the North Shore Paws dog training company on Long Island, New York, where I am from as well. Mike currently sells Pokemon cards for Slabs for Heroes, donating a portion of his sales to Songs for Soldiers. Mike, great to have you on the podcast, brother. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you having me. A long time coming. I've been waiting and very excited for this.
Yeah, brother. I'd seen, I think you may have started following me first. Who knows? I don't remember what's what in terms of social media. And then I was going back and forth, checking out your posts, all the things you were doing. And eventually I'm like, this guy's perfect for my podcast. Military. First of all, you love dogs, which is my biggest love in life.
Yes, I see you doing going to the rescue, and I'm like, that's so awesome, man. I love dogs so much, you know that.
Oh, I love it, bro. There is nothing like the purest love in the world that you will find is the love of a dog, as you know.
Absolutely.
And they're just amazing, man. Like, just watching your videos of what you do and how you train your dogs and the things they're capable of, it's mind-boggling to me. and
Yeah.
they're just such beautiful creatures. So between that and then, obviously I've seen that you've gone through some tumultuous times in your life, but you've achieved miraculous healing with the benefit of psychedelics, which I will forever be a proponent of the rest of my life. And it's
Yep.
just a natural fit, bro. So it was great having you on the podcast.
Yes, thank you. And I do want to hit on it's so funny you mentioned the Sean Ryan podcast. I've had a lot of friends on that podcast.
Yep.
Cody, just like you said, Eddie Penny was on, and that's the reason why you went. My good friend Cody Alford, who was the MARSOC Marine, and he went into Fallujah when all that stuff happened. He was the reason I went because I was trying everything, and he did the Ibogaine, and I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, how did it go for you?" He's like, "Dude, you got to get in there." So that's how I got introduced to it. So
Ah,
it's so crazy how impactful that show has been, as well as Joe Rogan for getting veterans, first respond, anybody with trauma,
yeah.
into these treatment facilities. So I just wanted to share that with you before we started. It's so cool to hear that that made an impact for you as well.
Oh yeah, brother. And we have to get Cody on here. I was actually intro to him from Zach Ferguson, former Navy SEAL.
Yeah,
He's been a guest, friend of mine. He's become a friend of mine. Great guy. And
right.
it just hasn't worked out yet. So with your influence,
Yeah.
maybe we get Cody in the
I'll
hot
try
seat,
to get him
man.
on. I'll try to help you out. He's a busy dude, man.
Oh,
Super
I can
busy.
imagine.
Yeah.
Got him small potatoes,
Um,
but we're getting there.
yeah.
We're building from the ground up, baby.
Absolutely. I did see you sharing your story, your struggle basically, and I just after I got back from my treatment, obviously my I was sharing my story, so I would see other people that were going through the ups and downs, and I was just like, oh man, it's cool to hear these things and see where you're going, what direction you're taking, and what you want to try to do to help better yourself. So that's what my algorithm was for a bit, and I shared my story, and we'll get into that here in a minute. But it's been so good to be able to use these platforms to educate people. I've sent 5 people down to get treatment,
Nice.
and it's changed their lives. And like we discussed on the phone that one day. I was like, it seems fake to people because it's like
Yeah.
there's no way that just worked,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I
So
said, bro. That's what I said at
yeah,
first. Yep. It's tough. Like, how can you explain? It's ineffable. Like, there's no words to describe what you
right.
go through. I can understand it because you went through it and vice versa. But to explain to someone, what this entails and what you experience, like, how are they going to believe it until they go through it
Yeah,
themselves?
exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, listen, let's start with you. Let the audience get to know you as a young kid, how you grew up, where you grew up, what kind of family, what kind of childhood. Today's episode is brought to you by Cutting Edge Testosterone Therapy, a veteran-owned, family-run clinic led by a retired first responder. At Cutting Edge, they help men and women rebuild strength, focus, and vitality through advanced hormone therapy, peptides, and performance-based weight management. Whether you've served your country, your community, or your family, Cutting Edge helps you get your edge back safely, professionally, and with people who understand what service takes out of you. Cutting Edge offers individualized care with no monthly fees or contracts. Learn more at cuttingedgetestosteronetherapy.com. Cutting Edge Testosterone Therapy, built by those who serve for those who still do.
Absolutely. So I was born in Hawaii, and my parents got divorced, and I ended up moving to Southern California. Spent most of my like elementary years there. I was huge into sports. A big baseball. I love baseball. It was my thing. I was a pitcher. I played on like all these little league teams, travel leagues. I made it to a team to go to the Little League World Series, but we ended up moving to New York.
What?
So yeah, I know,
Bro,
I
you
know.
didn't they didn't let you play in the World Series?
No, no.
Oh.
So just that whole tournament, I made it that far. But it is what it is.
Yep.
I moved to upstate New York, Syracuse, New York,
Oh, what a change.
and yeah, you're from New York, so you know
Oh,
what that's
yeah.
like.
That's another world from Long
Brutal,
Island, bro.
brutal,
Yeah.
brutal. Weather-wise, the snow was
Siberia.
crazy. Yeah, so. But I grew up in a small town called Marcellus. I had about 100 kids in my class, very small,
Yeah.
a very networked community. Everyone knew each other. Like just that's how it was. It was like the typical just suburbia, you know. And it was a great upbringing. I had a great childhood. My parents were awesome. Same thing, very involved in sports. I did transition to lacrosse right before I got to high school because it was just I like contact sports.
Yeah.
That was me, and you know how big lacrosse is in New York.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that
I
was my
love that
thing.
sport.
High school, I tell everyone, and it's going to tie back into some of the things I explain here in a second, but I struggled in school. I couldn't focus. I was just mentally all over the place. I did have something happen to me when I was a child that I never told my parents until I was 35. And come to find out, that was a big reason why I had trauma throughout my whole life that just went, unresolved. And that was a big issue for me. But, I struggled in school. I mean, I was like a B, C student. I had
Okay.
it was just a complete cycle of I would do good and do bad. And
And Mike, can I ask you, as far as that trauma, was something
yeah,
that sexual? I'm
no, it
assuming?
was not. It wasn't
Oh,
that.
okay.
It was something different. It was very took me by surprise and very intense by someone, and it fucked me up. Just it was a trust. Think of a trust thing.
Okay.
And it messed me up. And we'll talk offline about it. But
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
like you got I just for me it messed me up, and that was a big reason why I struggled growing up, just with school in general, and people. I'll get to that, like people pleasing and just trying to be the best to make sure that everyone liked me.
Right.
That kind of ordeal. So I did really good in lacrosse. I got recruited to go play in college. Funny story. I actually got recruited to go to Virginia Military Institute
Really?
to play D1 lacrosse, and I went, and man, it was like a prison. I was like, I got done with that recruiting trip, and I was like, hell no. I was like, I am not going. I will never do that. Right?
Yeah.
Lo and behold.
That's great.
But yeah, I ended up going up. This is gonna get worse. I went up to Potsdam, so
Oh.
right on the border of Canada,
Yep.
and it was the worst decision I could have made. That's when my childhood trauma started coming out. I just could not function alone. I just couldn't. Couldn't get to class. Really depressed. I went. I call it like my emo years, and I dropped out, and I was just in and out of community college, odd jobs at the mall in Syracuse, and I just started struggling. And then I got into, let's see here, I got into like heavy opiates right when like the opioid crisis started,
Okay.
and I got hooked. I struggled for about 2 years, 2.5 years, on and off in rehab.
So mom and dad knew.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah,
Okay.
they've caught me. It was a whole shit show.
Yep.
Oxycontin, all the pills, and then obviously what most people do is end up going to heroin, which is what I ended up doing. And my senior year of college, I went to Albany in New York. My roommate found me. I overdosed in my room, and he brought me back to life. Uh, and I quit right then. Meaning, like that was it. I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
No more. I went through the typical horrible withdrawal you see on TV on any type of. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. And
She just
I've
quit
always
cold turkey.
I quit cold turkey. No
Oh.
Suboxone, no methadone. Yeah, and I was doing like 10 bags of heroin a day. It was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
How long did that withdrawal last, Mike?
So about 2 weeks.
Oh.
The first week was just cold sweats, puking, uh, in and out both ends. It was bad.
Oh, I can imagine.
Just super sick. I was going to I was going to NA meetings, AA meetings. Like I was just trying to like figure it out.
Yep.
I was like, something's wrong with. I'm an addict, right? And I'll hit on that piece later. But that's what I was doing to try to just get over it, right? My buddy just got back from Iraq. He got blown up, a Purple Heart recipient. His name's Brandon Pitcher. Him and I were speaking, and he's like, "Just join the army, dude." And I was like, "Yeah, that'll get me out of here." You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, I'll be away. Yeah, I got away from the drugs, got away from everything. Because you gotta change the people, place, and
Oh,
things,
yeah.
right? Or else you're gonna be set up for failure. So he said, "Why don't you join the army?" And I was like, "All right." So I started getting in shape. Did the PT test. I took my ASVAB, and I did really well on it. And I was like, I just want to sit. I was a computer nerd. I was like, I just want to sit. So funny thinking about this. I just want to sit at the fob and not be in combat and work on a computer. I literally said that.
That's so fun. I'm
Excuse
thinking of SpongeBob 2 years later, and he's in the Ranger
Right.
Battalion.
Right. So I did that. I signed up. I got some communications job. It's called the 25 Quebec. That job's probably gone now in the military, but I signed up and went to boot camp. And boot camp was a joke. And I'm telling people this, like it was not what I thought it would be. I went with a bunch of juniors in high school
Yep.
that would go back, after their senior year to go to their job or whatever in the military. So my friends are gonna rip on me for this. Like we had our cell phones like day two.
Really?
Like we I'm not even exaggerating. Like we got to use them, and then like we went to a Tim McGraw concert. We were drinking monsters and having pizza. Went to like a boxing match. It was like a vacation. Like yeah, they smoked us and it was whatever, but it was
Yeah.
like it was a joke.
Wow.
Like I was like, you're not forging warriors in this.
Yeah, exactly,
There it is.
bro.
Yeah.
What kind of message
So
you sent it to you guys?
exactly. So got through that whole thing. I went to my school, my AIT, and that is when the switch flipped for me. My buddy, his name's Nick Mott. He was actually I did a live with him. He did Ibogaine recently. All he said to me was, "Hey, my brother is a ranger," and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he says, "Well, they do 3-month deployments." And at that time, there was like 18-month deployments. I was like, "Oh."
Damn.
I had no idea what that was. I had no idea
Really?
what a ranger was. No idea. I didn't know
Dude,
anything
that is
about the military.
crazy that you were in the
Right.
army, didn't know what a ranger was.
No idea. Couldn't even tell you. So that's all he said was they did 3-month deployments. So I didn't have airborne in my contract. I'm actually afraid of heights. I hate heights.
Me too, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So went to airborne school, and then what was it? Him and I just volunteered after airborne school, and they take any. For the audience, it's very hard for support guys to make it in any of those special ops units because a lot of them quit, and then a lot of them don't make it to Ranger school after they get through Ranger RASP or RIP, which was the Ranger selection. So commo guys in particular, because I was a communications guy,
Yep.
is very hard. I've seen so many people quit and fail. But we both volunteered, and we were in the first RASP class where they switched over from the 3-week program to the 8-week program. And we graduated airborne school, volunteered, and that is when I truly believe the Army started for me. We had our duffel bags because that's all we had, and we had to book it all the way to the Ranger third Ranger Battalion is where it's at, but we had to book it all the way down there, and they smoked the shit out of it. It was brutal. It was brutal. We had a little break. The people, by the way, people quit there. Like they volunteered and quit.
Really?
When they got down. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. They dropped the hammer on you. People don't realize it's a lot different than what you think it is.
Yeah.
We'll get into some more details.
People
but,
just hate getting yelled at, period, bro. Like, it's amazing to me
yeah.
how scared people get. I'm like, it's a game. They can't punch you.
Yeah, exactly.
They used to be able to, I guess.
Yeah, they used to. We actually had a break. It was a Christmas break, and then we started RASP. Day one, we started with 289 people. I will never forget this, and I know this person exists still. His name was Sergeant Brash. He kicks open this door, like we're all in formation outside, and he's like, "Get the f down, faggots!" And like I was like, "Oh, here we go." Within 30 minutes, 30 people were dropped.
Wow.
Somewhere in there, and it was just a slay fest. Like very little sleep, just getting smoked all the time. You go out to a place called Coal Range. That is where you get broken. You do land nav all day. You get smoked all day. You're doing push-ups, and it was wintertime, so we were in the water. It was freezing. It was about 35 degrees at night. Like it was brutal. We got through that portion. So once you get through that, that's about end of week 4.
Okay.
You pretty much made it, unless you have some crazy infraction.
Right.
The rest of the training is actually really fun. A lot of shooting, explosives, all the fun stuff.
Okay.
But we started with 289 and graduated 30 something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's that, about
So-
a 90%?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Attrition
Like,
rate? Wow.
yeah, somewhere in there. So Yeah, we basically from there you spread across to all the Ranger battalions. There's two in Georgia, one in Washington. I was supposed to stay in Georgia at the what's it called, the Ranger Communications Unit, but I actually got moved to Fort Lewis, which definitely saved my career. I'm so glad I went there, and
Why is that, Mike?
because I actually got to go to the infantry line.
Okay.
If I stayed in Georgia, I wouldn't have gone to the infantry line and been the RTO there.
Okay.
So um, in any case, I got there and it was way worse as far as when you're the low man on the totem pole. Basically, like I have my tattoo, right? If everybody, anybody that graduates RASP gets a scroll, but
Okay.
if you don't have a Ranger tab, you are scum of the earth. Doesn't matter if you are a sergeant in E6, like a Ranger tab with the scroll trumps everything. So it was brutal.
Now, how do you get the tab? Going through the
You got
course
to
that
go
you
to
just went through?
So RASP is what gets you the scroll.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people don't understand that. Ranger school is a leadership school. Anybody can go to it. SEALs, Marines, doesn't matter. Anybody can go to Ranger school. But
Okay.
until you get a Ranger tab, you are nobody in Ranger Regiment. Like no one cares about you.
Gotcha.
All right. So you are the lowest of the low. And it was brutal. There were days the first training cycle I was in, even though I was in the commo section, I wasn't on the line unit yet.
Okay.
It was brutal. I was like, I don't know if I want to be here. I was getting smoked from when I walked in that door at 6 a.m. until I left. I was getting destroyed.
Really?
I had to carry, yeah, I had to carry a dildo around for my first training site. It was brutal. I had to have it tied down in my pocket. It was like just stupid crap. Like it's still
Yep.
fun thinking about it, but like just so many things that just were like, dude, I don't know if I want to do this, right? Because
Yeah.
it was tough. And I did my first deployment, went to Kandahar, and it was like about 3 weeks in, and I was like, I am not meant to sit behind a desk. I didn't do all that crazy stuff to sit behind a desk.
Yep.
So I begged my communications commander. I was like, hey, I want to go out with the platoons, and he's like, all right, like better learn. So I did like a full week of just learning everything. And then I started going out every single night. And my first mission was so freaking awesome. It was like a scene out of like an action movie.
Really?
Like we land, yeah, oh my God, yeah. So we land on the X. You've probably heard that term. Like
Oh, yeah.
literally like probably 100 feet from the house in this helicopter. And I get off that helicopter. People are shooting, things are exploding. I was like, oh, this is so sick. Like, it was overwhelming because it's so orchestrated,
Yeah.
right? And as you train more, you understand. Had no idea what was going on. It was like my first mission. I was shadowing, and I was like, whoa, like, this is so sick, right? And you're like, holy cow, just the amount of violence. I don't think people understand. The amount of violence we bring to the battlefield is insane. It's insane, and people just have no clue. And I've always told people, whether you're Ranger, SEAL, SF, whatever the case may be, like we are capable of some really gnarly stuff. And I sleep well at night knowing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's crazy to me, bro, is like throughout my career, you could be, and I'm sure it happened to you, man, like that first deployment now, you're in your first firefight.
Yeah,
You're not discombobulated, but in some respects, you're like, what the fuck's going on? But
yeah,
after a few of them, everything slows down. You see
oh
everything
yeah,
unfolding before you, and you are so like I've been in the middle of riots, bro, and I was absolutely almost to the point of like, why am I so calm? Like it's
right, right.
crazy how you'll see movies where guys are like they're shooting and the gunnery sergeant will be walking around standing up with no shirt on, and
Yeah.
you know, you're like, there's no way, but yeah, that actually happens.
Yeah, and I just went out every night. I just volunteered. I'm very fortunate. I have a cool story to tell on my part. Is I went out with every single infantry company, so I got to work with different commanders, different mission sets. It was really awesome. I got like the best learning experience possible for the job I did, and we got back from that deployment. This is how crazy life schedule is. Our deployments are about 3.5 months long. I got back. I did my Ranger School PT test. went straight to Ranger School 2 weeks after my deployment. Failed the first phase of Ranger School right during Best Ranger, so I had like a 4 week break until I started again.
So what'd you fail exactly?
Darby, the first phase. I had no idea. And to clarify, I was raised by officers. I didn't really have NCOs that were like that like raised me because I
Yep.
was always around the head
Head
guys,
sheds.
right?
Yep.
Like whether it was a captain or a major or a chief warrant officer, that's who I worked with a lot. So
Gotcha.
they taught me everything for the most part. But no one taught me anything about Ranger School. I just went and like I had no idea about patrolling. I had my
That's
first
crazy.
patrol. I was so lost. I had no idea what the heck was going on. So it was good that I recycled, right?
Yep.
And I learned everything. I was like, okay, now I got it. Made it straight through after that. You start with like 300, graduate. I don't know because people recycle and stuff like that, but
Right.
graduated like maybe 100 somewhere in there.
Okay.
And literally 2 weeks after that, I deployed straight back to Kandahar.
Damn.
Yeah. So I spent that whole year just gone,
Yeah.
you know, and went straight to Kandahar again. And I couldn't lift a 20-pound dumbbell. I was so destroyed. So it took me about a good week or two to get back into shape. And
Wow.
then I started going out again. I went out again, same thing. I wasn't attached to a company yet, so I was with two different uh, platoons that were there. It was like the head spot, and
Okay. How come you
that was
weren't
the
attached at
first
this point, Mike?
because I didn't have a Ranger tab, so
Ah.
I couldn't take over a company, even though there are guys who didn't have Ranger tabs that had companies. They still have to go to Ranger school, so it kind of screws with your job.
Okay.
So. Um, I had one, and then one of the commanders that was taking over, his name it was Major Director at the time. He's like, Leo, you're coming to Deco. Decos were like Matt Best from Black Rifles and then Sergeant First Class Petrie, Medal of Honor winner. He's from that company. So
Okay.
a really good lineage, really cool.
Yeah. Sounds like
And
it.
that's where I ended up going. But that second deployment was the first mass casualty event I was ever a part of. You'll probably see the first CST that died, Lieutenant Ashley White, excuse me. She passed away. PFC Horns, Sergeant First Class MA, and it was brutal.
Yeah.
Um, you're, I literally was in the jock with Domey before they went out, and it was crazy to see that like he didn't come back. Like
Can
it's
imagine.
like somewhat, and he was a JTAC. He was the first. Uh, how do I explain it for people? He basically could use all aircraft, navy, all munitions from all branches. Trained on that and able to do call for fire missions and things like that. He was the first one that qualified for that in the
Okay.
army.
Yeah, they're essentially air traffic controllers, right?
Right, right,
With you
right.
guys. And
So like
were they killed in a firefight?
so man, it was brutal. A multi daisy chained uh, houseborn IED, about four of them. So they all set off at different points, and they were all killed instantly.
Wow.
It was brutal. I remember having to take the footage to the sergeant major who I RTO'd for a lot. Um, and I had to record it all and put it on disc. And like, I watched everyone just get obliterated. And I was like, that was the first time we lost anybody that was with us. And I
Yep.
was like, whoa. And that, if anybody's ever seen a ramp ceremony, it is brutal. Sending people off from Afghanistan in their casket. I've been to a bunch of them, and it's tough, and uh, we got done with that whole situation, and we went back to that. I went back to that same place four more times after that,
Wow.
and uh, that's when I started being very like hyper vigilant, right? Because you don't know any step you take in the
Yep.
dark, something can go off, right? So it's like one foot in front of the other, like trying
Oh,
to stay
yeah.
in line with everyone,
I can't imagine.
Um,
So, like, what are you
so
noticing with your nervous system? Are you able to sleep? Loud
So
noises bothering you? Like, what's going on?
no, so it's just more of like every little thing, every window you see while you're out at night, every just every wall. You're like, oh my god, is there someone on the side, right?
Yeah,
Because
so
I
everything's a threat,
walk,
which
yeah.
it
So I'm
is.
walk,
Yeah.
yeah. I walk at the back, so I'm the last with the commander, typically. So it's just me back there, because I see everything.
Yep.
And it was like, I'm like, holy crap, like anybody could just pop up behind us and like I'd get smoked so
Oh yeah.
fast. Right. So that's just kind of how it was. And we got back from that deployment. I took over a company and man, training cycle straight back out 6 months later. And that was the craziest deployment of my career. Yeah, I'll tell you, mission one,
What year is this, Mike?
2012, I
Okay.
believe. Yep. So we step off that helicopter. We're at 10,000 feet elevation. I did not train for 10,000 feet elevation. Right. So we step off that helicopter and bullets are flying by the ramp already by me.
Damn.
And I am on the radio. We already had two people get hit before I even got off the
Holy
helicopter.
shit.
One got shot in the plate. He survived. He was fine. Another one right through his sights, his EOTech.
Yep.
Bullet went through there, and then another one went through his pant leg.
Wow.
But that was like right after we got off the helicopter. So I'm running. I have bullets flying by. I can't catch my breath because I have 100 pounds of gear. I didn't train at 10,000 feet
Yeah. That's
elevation.
crazy elevation.
So mission one, I'm running to get to cover. We land in a field. I get against a wall and I can barely make my calls. Like, I'm like, oh my God. They're just trying to catch my breath. And I was just like, man. And like that was kind of the tempo for the rest of the deployment.
Wow.
It was just a lot of just bad people out there.
Yeah. So constant
and
firefights for you guys?
Oh, that was the most firefights I've ever experienced. Like, I don't remember it was it was a lot,
Yeah.
It's just more than the average, I guess you would say. And we had to cut our forces down on mission because we were such high elevation. So it was like a bare bones group. And we're at 10,000 feet for the most part.
So you guys stayed at 10,000? That's what
yeah,
you're.
like all of our missions were up that high. So it was a place called Sharana. It was up on a plateau, and like everything was just super high. It was so ridiculous. I was in really great shape.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, you gotta
after
be
it was
after
over.
that.
But that's when I would say that's when I think it made me more hyper vigilant of things, just like super anal about everything in life. Like I got to
Okay.
make sure this is good, make sure this is good. Like it started like trickling in, right? My fourth deployment was nothing. We didn't really do anything. We're at Camp Leatherneck. We went out and stuff, but like kind of after that crazy deployment, everything was downhill.
Oh yeah,
Like
fizzled after
that's
that.
for everybody. After 2013, I got recruited to go to JSOC to work at a particular unit that I mentioned called JCU. It's like the tier one for nerds. That's what it is. It's
That's hilarious.
yeah.
So you're a sub-professor nerd.
Yeah,
All
I am a
right.
nerd. I have a lot of computer networking certifications. I have like a whole spiel of that stuff, hacking stuff.
Nice.
Really good with radios, satellite stuff. That's not me. I am a freaking tiger. I need to be outside. I'm not a house cat,
Yeah.
But I did get recruited for a specific job there to still go out on mission, and this is what killed my career. I got there and they're like, "Yeah, you're going to sit behind a desk for a year." I was like, "Excuse me, like we're not putting guys straight into that unit yet."
Yeah.
Because like I was explaining to you, there's units within units within units, right? At that level. So I was like, "What? Like, I'm not sitting behind a desk. I didn't come here to sit behind a desk." It was miserable. It's not what I wanted to do. Obviously, I
Yeah.
would have just stayed in Ranger Battalion. Um, so I did my time, hated it. My first deployment sucked. And then I went through the selection, crushed the selection. I was going through a divorce at the time, and the only reason why they didn't pick me was because of that divorce.
Really?
I peered number one in the class, destroyed all the things. We did a whole selection in Tennessee. did 50 miles through, what was it, Kentucky, in a ruck. It was a big old selection, and
Yep.
they didn't pick me. And after that, I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, that one hurts.
Um, yeah, and I was like, I'm the most like qualified for that job that I was going to, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I only did that to build my resume to go to Delta Force. At the
Okay.
end of the day, like that's where I wanted to go. I think that's where a lot of guys from Ranger Battalion want to go. A lot of guys fail, but it's just that's the top. You
Yep.
know,
That
you
is the
want to see how
pinnacle.
good you are.
Right.
And I was I was very young, so I made staff sergeant in 4 years. I was the first 25 Quebec to get a Ranger tab in the military. Which doesn't mean much because like that job is whatever, but to give people an idea, like what I'm capable of doing by myself, it takes like a whole company of like 100 people to do. So like
Nice.
that's like just the level of where I was at. So I like when I'd go to the big army schools, which you have to go to,
Yep.
like they would always reference things to me. I was like, hey, like what you guys are working on is very old, outdated stuff. I'm like, all that stuff that you're doing, I can just do by myself. And it's taking
Really?
like, yeah, I was like, I do this all by myself.
Wow.
But it is what that's the big difference, right?
Yeah.
That's just money. So, you know, after all that stuff, that's when I started noticing some of the things that I was struggling with. I was in a blast and I hit my head when we were jumping onto a runway for it's called MLAT. It's a big exercise. I was in a blast and I hit my head. And what I noticed was my last year in, I was really struggling shooting. And I never struggled ever. I was
Yeah.
expert in everything. I crushed it, pistol and rifle. I couldn't hit a target 100 meters from me with
Wow.
my rifle. I was like, dude, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
something is up. Something is up. I went to occupational therapy. It was like my last year in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like your head, you got like a TBI." I was like, "Oh, sick," you know. So I had glasses. Like I don't wear. They do help a lot. I'm supposed to wear them, um, but I'm supposed to wear glasses that helps keep my balance and everything straight.
Okay.
I was doing occupational therapy, things like that, and then what I didn't explain was after that second or third deployment, the crazy one, that's when I started having the PTSD issues. And I kind of want to back out of that. I didn't tell anybody to tell anybody I worked with. It's probably the first time anybody's going to hear about this, but I would get out of work and just start crying in my truck,
Really?
um, bawling, like bawling, crying. Um, I would call my social worker. Her name's Beth. That lady. Oh, bless her. Like she heard me cry so hard for so long, and I never told anybody any of this. Right? Just that ego.
Yeah.
Um,
We all have
I
it.
was so lonely, so lonely. Like, not just like I dated women here and there, but like when I tell you lonely, like, I miss all my buddies in Ranger Battalion.
Okay.
That's what I missed. I
Yeah.
know I missed that. I've never felt so lonely in my life, and I was like, I miss it. Like I felt like I had no purpose even at this new job because it
Yep.
was like doing what I did. There's nothing that compares to that, and it's the same story across, whether it's SEALs, Delta, Special Forces. There's nothing that compares to your team and your boys.
Yeah.
And I was crying all the time, and that's when I got into bodybuilding. And I would force myself to go to the gym at like 4 a.m. I didn't have work till 9 a.m.
Okay.
Where I work. So it was like I was at the gym at 4, hour of cardio, eat my breakfast, go train for another hour, and then go to work, and hour of cardio at lunch, hour of cardio at night. Like
Damn.
I just yeah. It was crazy. I just started like punishing myself. That's kind of where that all started.
Okay.
Right. And I ended up getting out at my 8 year mark, did 6 deployments. And man, it's crazy to look back and see where I started from there and where I'm at now. And I was always trying to prove myself to anyone. I did very well in the fitness industry. I was making ridiculous money, and I was just like anybody else. Come up on a lot of money. Just freaking look like a rap video.
Yep.
Tables at clubs, expensive bags, expensive this, like just blowing through money because it was like I don't know, it was like some rush maybe, and just trying to prove myself to everyone because I wasn't a ranger anymore, right?
Right.
Um, and that's when I had some issues in my relationship, and went through a divorce, and I moved from Arizona to Philly, and that is when it all hell broke loose. That's when I got involved into drugs. This is going to be the first time anyone's going to hear any of this stuff, so it's going to be pretty revealing.
All right. Exclusive.
Right. I was doing probably and you're an ex-cop, an 8 ball or more of cocaine almost every day and
Wow.
drinking every day
Damn.
for months. Like my nose would just be blood everywhere, like every day. I lost 60 or 70 pounds. I used to have a picture of it. I think I still do. I'll send it to you. Uh, I went from 250 because I was trying to be a pro bodybuilder
Yep.
down to 170 in like
Damn.
4 months.
That's
I'll
crazy,
send you the
dog.
picture. Um, I was just so hurt, and I we discussed it's betrayal by loved ones. Um, it's probably the one thing that I struggled with the most. I don't think about the military. I don't have flashbacks of anything like that. It's
Yep.
just relationship stuff and betrayal. And that's what I've had to learn about what my struggles were and why I coped the way I did.
Right.
Right. So I just with that, I just went through these cycles of doing so much cocaine and then coming down and crashing and getting my life back together. Then in a new relationship, same thing. The next marriage I was in, I was injecting that much cocaine.
Wow.
I was losing my mind. I was thinking there's people outside spying on me. Um, it was bad. People don't know. Like it got so bad at one point. I think someone sent me meth, and I was walking in circles in my condo for 3 days straight. My feet were raw and bleeding,
Holy
and people
shit.
don't really know that. Yeah, it was bad,
That's
and
amazing. And how are mom and
it
dad at this point? They know what's going on, I'm assuming.
no clue.
No clue. Wow.
Nobody knew it was that bad. I hid it from everyone. Um,
Unbelievable. You have to be isolated at that point for no one to know.
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is it had nothing, and this is what I hope people learn from it, had nothing to do with being an addict. Like, like whether it be alcohol or this, like, it was just coping and trying to feel what I used to feel,
Yeah.
right? Or filling that void of what I did. And I still struggled with that for, I mean, years after, even up until I did Ibogaine. I was, that was a year ago. Struggled because that was my coping mechanism.
Yeah.
It was the only thing, and I think you and I discussed it, gave me that like dump of adrenaline and rush of like what I used to have. Because what I struggled with is I didn't feel joy and happiness. I didn't feel pleasure at all. Nothing made me happy. Happy. Didn't matter the amount of money I had, the woman I had, things I had. Nothing. It didn't. You never. It's never enough. And I call it like just the thief of joy. That's what I call
Yeah.
PTS. And I
Absolutely.
hate the disorder part. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
I think,
disorder.
yeah. I
Yeah.
call PTS. Most people know PTSD, but,
Right.
PTS describes it perfectly. And I'll tell you one
Right.
thing that I've kind of reframed my mind as to what drug abusers are. If someone is addicted to a substance, it's not something that they want it to have happen to them. They are
No.
using it and utilizing it for a reason. It's
Right.
probably the only way that they can get through life. So I've actually thought about this. I've been thinking about this differently. Like, how many people are on this earth because they used alcohol or drugs and got addicted to them? Because if those two weren't available, they probably would have committed suicide. And I'm not encouraging their use in any respect. But,
Right.
where I used to look at people as weak, and listen, I was in rehab myself for opioid addiction in 2012. I no longer look at them like that. If it's one thing if someone is socially using a drug periodically every now and then, but it's a different story if someone's addicted to it. They are addicted
Right.
for a reason.
I used to get like pissed because like I had friends that could go out and have a drink or go do some blow or smoke weed, and like it's not an issue, right?
Yeah.
And then for me, it was like I'm gonna blow all my money. I'm not gonna sleep. I can't even tell you how many times I haven't slept. I didn't sleep for like 5 or 6 days, like just completely out of my mind. And I look back and I'm like, all it was that trauma. I was just coping for
Yep.
all the traumatic crap I've had happen in my life. And when I was in Long Island, on Long Island, excuse me, on Long Island, um, you know, I still continued, but you know, it changed my mind about addicts. That's really the biggest thing, right? And at a point, you know, because I've lived everywhere and done different things. I was in Colorado. Um, I just lost my business through some crap stuff that happened. Um, and I lost everything in my life. I was making like almost six figures a month. It was crazy in the fitness industry, and I that's when I had someone in my life help me out, and I'm eternally grateful for it because it taught me a life lesson, and I'll get to that. But I lost everything, and I had a ranger buddy. His name's Eric Innes. He runs Coastline Canine down in Naples, Florida. Um, Him and I met after I just tried to kill myself. I just got out of the psych ward. It was not good. And he's like, "Hey, come down to Naples. You can stay with me free of charge, just to get your life back on track." And it was the first time like anyone has ever done anything for me.
Really?
Like it was like no strings attached, right? Just like, "Hey, like I want to make sure you're good as a
Yeah.
ranger buddy." And that's when I left Colorado. And uh, man, it completely changed my life in every way. I was around dogs. He trains protection dogs until I got my dog Billy. And man, if it wasn't for that one moment in life, I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
And for that, him lending out that favor and gesture to me, you know, him and I just spoke today. Just I always tell him how grateful I am for him
Yep.
because without that, I wouldn't be here today. And I always make that a point to say that. And I was there for a bit, got into the dog world a little bit, got bit for the first time, like was learning stuff. Moved to New York, back to Long Island, or well, to Long Island. Was lost, man. So lost. Drinking every day. Couldn't. Was on antipsychotics, antidepressants.
So
Like
now you went to Florida and you get squared
yeah,
away, and then you go back to Long Island, and you. Oh, okay, so you're back on now.
yeah.
Okay.
And I was on
So what
medication.
started that downfall on Long Island? Any reason?
So on Long Island was I just started medication in Florida through the VA, antipsychotics. They told me I was bipolar,
Really?
right? Not a single, and I want to tell this to people, not a single doctor said, "Oh, you have PTSD or you have two TBIs." There are two. I didn't even know that. Not a single doctor,
Really?
not one. They just go, "Oh, you're bipolar," just because of what I was doing. I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, I'm struggling, right? You know, I'm doing drugs, I'm drinking, you know, ups and downs." Um, so I was on antipsychotics and whatever. They may have worked for a little bit, but I was an emotional wreck. Then I couldn't leave the house. I think I was explaining this to you. My first 2 years in on Long Island, I had a tough time leaving the house. I would have alcohol delivered to me. I was just trapped in my head.
Yep.
It was brutal. And then one day I was finally like, yeah, I'm done. Like I got to figure this out. I got back in the gym. Um, I my buddy Eric, he's like trying to help me out, and I was like, well, how did you start dog training? He's like, I just started walking dogs on Rover. Mind you, he trained dogs in Ranger Regiment, but he's like, I just had to start somewhere to
Yeah.
like, you know, get my business going.
Yep.
So what did I do? I started walking dogs, and I sucked. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Um, and I started paying for courses and going to classes and seminars and worked at a facility, and that was a shit show. But like, I, I got I got a lot of education and paid for education. I got certified in what's called NEPO. And I was like, I'm starting my own business. And I just filed bankruptcy, right? I was like negative $150,000. That next month, I made 75 grand training dogs.
Damn.
And I kept up like about 40 to 50 grand a month after that for 2.5 years straight. Um, I work set ties into the trauma stuff. I work 7 days a week, no off days, unless I wanted to go on vacation. I was all over the island. Um, again, proving myself,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm not a failure. And I was still struggling mentally because it was just I was becoming that workaholic. I couldn't shut off. Just like I was just so consumed with got to make sure the dogs are good, make sure this is good, got to make money, and still struggled. I didn't do drugs or anything like that, but like when I went away for something, I just let loose, and it was just still all coping. I was in a relationship. I just got finished my divorce again. You know, there was an affair, and I was like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that. You know, and
Yeah.
um, it is what it is. And what's tough about that is I came back from my Ibogaine trip, and like I had to go through that. I had to go through a divorce, and I don't know how anybody else has gone through anything yet, but like that was a
That's
different thing
tough.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I discussed, it was difficult, but like it was new feelings, right? I didn't go to my same dark place. It was like, all right, let's figure it out, right? And that's one thing I'm grateful for the medicine, and I'll dive into that piece, but I don't know if there was anything else.
Yeah, let's talk about how you became aware of it. What got you
But
towards using the medicine. How'd that all come about?
so Sean Ryan episode, Cody Alford was on, and Ibogaine started to be talked about, and he posted about going on his trip. I recently I did ketamine before that, which definitely helped.
Okay.
I think that it's a great tool to kind of just put a whole like, hey, we're gonna just stop everything right now. We're gonna erase the board in your head, just give you like a breather. But I think that has to be done a lot for it to have a really big impact long term. That's my personal belief. Again, not a doctor, just
Yep.
from my usage of it. And I saw Cody go through. I saw all the other testimonials, and like just like the video that's on my Instagram. I'm like, if this doesn't work, I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself because I was in a prison in my head,
Yeah.
and I went through the therapies. I can't even tell you how many different therapy things I've done. I just lost count. Nothing worked, and you feel like a failure because you're trying so hard, and everyone around you is like, "Oh yeah, he's just a PTSD nut," like
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
he's just the druggie or alcoholic, whatever it is, and you're hopeless. So I just reached a point because my speech was getting really bad. My memory was I couldn't remember what I did 10 minutes ago. It was brutal. And man, I was like, all right, let me reach out to Ambio. Reached out to Ambio, and I was able to get in last year at the end of July. So we're coming up on a year right now.
Nice.
Um, and man, it I am so grateful for that trip.
Yeah.
Um, and I know a lot of people want to hear that experience. Like I went in, mind you, I've done a lot of drugs in my life. I've done everything. And I was like, I wasn't afraid. Like I know what hallucinogenics are like, psychedelics. And I was like, just bring it to me. I'm like, bring me the healing. I'm like, I am here. I am open. Tell me what you got, right?
Yep.
And we did our Ibogaine that first night or second night, and mine was beautiful. I had very few dark entities or any darkness in it.
Okay.
It was actually really pretty. Um, and uh, the gray day, the next day
Yep.
after, I was wrecked. I was out for like 24 hours.
Wow.
I did not get up. Yeah, I was completely wrecked. And not everybody was like
Yep.
I know I was.
Yeah. Some people up early having, it
Yeah,
was like
like
a
they're
normal
out
day.
walking the beach.
Yeah. It was
Walking the
unbelievable.
beach. And I
Now, were
was
you there
sitting
with
like,
all
in bed.
veterans?
No, so it was split 50-50.
Okay.
And I want to clarify too, like I have a lot of people, civilians reach out. They're like, oh, I see it's only for veterans. No, like it's meant for anybody with trauma.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And I want to say too, some of I would say the civilian trauma was trumps the military trauma.
Oh
Um,
yeah, some of the
like
trauma you hear from civilians, brother. I mean, most of it
like
centers around sexual abuse. It is mind-boggling, man.
oh,
Listen, everyone's got their trauma, and you can't compare one
right.
person to another. But yeah, you would hear, oh, this is a 30-year cop. Oh, this guy was a ranger, man. They have to have like the craziest stories. But then you hear
Right.
a civilian story, like a woman, and you're like, oh my God, like you're sitting here crying as she's telling a story.
Oh
Like,
my, yeah,
I'm so
my
sorry you had to go through
jaw,
that.
my jaw was on the floor. I'm like,
Yep.
how are you standing? I in my head, I'm like, I thought my life was bad, you
Yeah.
know? I'm like, what the hell? Like, wow. And it doesn't matter. I try to tell everyone, it's if you're struggling, it doesn't matter what your threshold was for whatever
Yep.
you went through. Just like you're able to go, right?
Yeah.
Anybody's able to go.
Your trauma is your trauma.
Right. And that was what's great is, seeing everyone go through, especially the Ibogaine, the people that were very hesitant and not open to the medicine definitely didn't get the full benefit.
You're right.
The people that tried to fight it or like, were scared, whatever the case may be. Um, I was most worried about the DMT because I've seen people do DMT in
Yeah.
person. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can handle that. And that I'm so grateful for that, man. And here, we discussed it. I went in hesitant on my first hit of it. I didn't really see anything. It was like, it felt really good.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I was
this is
like, yo, you're
5-MeO DMT for anyone that's listening.
correct. Um, and that second there, you're allowed to do the hit, you hit it twice. And I was
Yep.
like, dude, I'm hitting this thing. I'm like, I'm here for healing, right? I sucked that thing down. And when I hit that bed, I was in another dimension.
Yeah.
Like you hear it all the time from all the podcasts. It is a different dimension, not in this world.
Yep.
That's how I can
Yeah.
describe it.
I agree.
And I didn't have any of the like characters or entities or whatever. When I went in with my intention, it was like I want to feel love, happiness, and joy, and be able to, give that back to people.
Yeah.
And I hit that bed, and it was just like I've described. It's a black and white swirl above my head. I guess you could say above my head. Um, Beautiful colors, like almost like watercolor everywhere. And then like the shapes, like the fractal shapes everywhere. A beautiful, like angelic tone, kind of on the backside of my head. And every breath I took felt like life, love, happiness, and joy was filling me up. And I was just every breath, I just took these big inhales and I was just in bliss. That's the best way to describe it. And
Yeah.
as I was coming back to, I just remember grabbing my chest and crying so hard, like the most happy, joyous cry of relief. Like, oh my God, I felt love again. It was like feeling love.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if I could imagine, it was God hugging me. That's what I've described it as, and saying, I got you.
Yep.
And that is, I came skipping out of that freaking thing, like so happy because I felt so good. It felt so good. And it's not a drug where you could like, hey, I'm just go, do it like,
Hit it
weed or
again.
coke or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's just is a healing medicine. And I was just like, wow, like all of that trauma and BS I went through for years on medication. And like, I feel incredible, absolutely incredible. And that is when I was like, all right, I know I need to get divorced. Like that was why I went down there.
Yep.
I was trying to figure that out. And I was like, I just want to help other people now. I've done very well in all my businesses. I'm like, how can I just help people and not go through what I went through? No different than how you explained it. And I got back, filed for divorce, moved out here in California, and now I'm just trying to get more people through.
Right.
And that's what I'm using my not my nonprofit, my business for is just a portion of sales. I'm going to be donating to Songs for Soldiers, who's paid for my treatment,
Okay.
and it's the one thing that I've just prioritized in my life is I just want to help others. Like I've made money, I've been successful. Got to take care of your fellow human.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a very common theme when we go through these treatments and you come out the other side. Like all you want to do is have other people experience the magic because
Right.
you see all the pain that you went through and you just want to have them avoid it. Yeah, it's incredible, especially the 5-MeO. I like you. I mean, I I was wrecked, but I was so sad and depressed after post-Ivy
Oh,
game.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was like, man, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? Because I didn't go down and feel like that. And then, Dan, our house manager, was like, our coach was like, listen, it's a process. You just got
Yeah.
sandblasted down to your studs. 5 MEO was the polish. And he's like, just relax. So I tried to relax for whatever, like 24 to 36 hours, wherever it was. And
Yeah.
with the magic of the 5 MEO, bro, I came at it. I was like you. I was bawling at the end of it.
Yeah.
Finally took my blindfold off and just looked at him. And I was like, I can't believe it. What just happened, bro? And it was like,
Right.
I felt like the most peace and bliss that I've ever felt in my life.
Right.
It's life-changing stuff.
I was gonna ask you, did you have any? I forgot to add this detail. I had chronic pain before I went. So in my knees, um, I couldn't have a blanket on me in bed because my knees hurt so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was painful, and that was for years. It was very uncomfortable, and that completely went away. So a lot of people with chronic pain, this is for you if you're listening. Uh, for me, it helped that, and a couple other folks that went through, same thing. It helped relieve that chronic pain because a lot of trauma is stored in your muscles, in your joint, like all that stuff. Um, and that's something that really benefited me. Like I was told I would never be able to squat again or load my spine, and like I was squatting 225 like a month later.
Really?
Like it was, yeah, it
Wow.
was crazy. And I didn't squat for years, because it was so I couldn't go parallel.
Okay.
It was so painful. Um, so and not to say I need to go like hammer out squats anymore, but it was just to show you that a lot of that stuff can be in your head and in those pathways that it resets
Yeah,
or resets.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard of numerous stories where, so I have sleep apnea. I use the CPAP machine, and I heard that two people that had gone there no longer need the CPAP machine. I was like, oh, that'd be fantastic. But
That would be great.
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that didn't happen. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. Something happened to where an injury went away, or I'll tell you one thing, brother. Sleep. I had not slept probably in 10 years without an aid, whether it be Valium or
Right. Right.
THC edibles, whatever the case may be. And I started sleeping again 8 hours every night post Ivy game.
Right.
Like that blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that was another big piece was the sleep part. Something weird with me, I just wake up super early in the summertime. It's just I've always done that. But after that treatment, because it was late summer, it was like I had the best sleep. It was like I've never slept like that in my life.
Really?
Just so refreshed. Yeah. Um, and I don't know if you had the same thing with the reset of your receptors. I had a cup of coffee after at the airport after that treatment, and it was like they were like, "Hey, your receptors are fresh, like so it's gonna be like you've never done any stimulant." I couldn't even finish the cup of coffee. I was like sweating. I was like super
Wow.
high. Yeah, it was crazy. But those are some of the things I got to experience. Post treatment.
Yeah, it's amazing medicine, brother. Now, so
Yeah.
do you now imbibe in psychedelics?
Yeah, so monthly now, my thing is I will do a smaller dose of psilocybin and MDMA once a month.
Okay.
I just did
The
it.
hippie
I
flip?
just did it. Yeah, the hippie flip, right? Um, just enough where you're not. It's just enough,
Yeah.
right? I'm not there to like be floored to the ground, seeing rocket ships. I just want that just cleanse of the brain, everything firing nicely, and just feeling good, and then that's it, and we're
Yep.
done. And I feel everyone's different on how they want to approach that stuff. For me, I just started that. This is my second month doing it. It has made such a huge impact. It's like fresh beginning of the month. I feel great. My mind is clear. I'm more relaxed. And by the start of next month, maybe I don't need as much or so, I don't even need it. It's just, I know it's good for your
Yeah.
brain. That's really
Yeah,
it. You know?
absolutely. And can I ask, does your girlfriend do it as well?
Yeah.
All right, because it's great for I'm in a coaching integration course, being true to you right now, coaching integration course. So people openly talk about the medicines they journey with, and one of the instructors was talking to us the other night. He's like, I will not be in a relationship if my partner will not use MDMA. So I think they journey pretty much like you, like once a month, and they don't have to use
Right.
heavy amounts. Just enough.
Right.
That's a misconception that people think, especially with psilocybin, like, yeah, I need to do hero doses,
Right. 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 Yeah.
8, 12 grams. No, like you don't
Yeah.
have to do all that medicine. And the medicine is not what heals you. It opens you up, brings you
Right.
awareness, takes down walls that have been surrounding you, brings stuff from your subconscious to your conscious so you can deal with them and heal from them. But as far as healing, no, the medicine itself does not do it. It's the integration. It's what you do
Yeah.
afterward. It's all that work. It's the
Yep.
people, places, and things, like you said, that you change because they must be changed or else you're going to be right back where you started from.
Right. And I do want to hit on that too. That's where I can see most people fail is going back to the same environment, maybe even where the trauma happened, and you're the medicine is not going to get you out of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm sorry, like it, just like they say when you're there, it is going to be that 5 degree shift to get you thinking a different way and feeling a different way.
Yep.
But you're going to have to do some work on your end to be successful, period. It doesn't mean you have to move and do some
No.
extreme stuff. That could be the case for some people, but like something's going to have to change in your daily routine and what you're doing, your habits to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you, one thing I've been hitting on lately is the fact that people hear about these as being, this absolute miracle, and they're going to be what heals you. And, as we're talking about now, it's not the case. But post Ibogaine, did you know, or did you see yourself or feel yourself kind of going back into valleys periodically? Or, because it's not like this straight linear, um,
Right.
you know, healing journey that we go on typically.
So I would say there's been, yes, I think you can feel emotions, that maybe you felt before. Uh, but like even the valleys of it, it's like it's not as extreme. That's the best way to, it's okay, like things kind of suck right now
Yep.
versus, oh my God, like the world's ending, and being paranoid and just anxiety ridden about every little thing. It's just learning to control your emotions. Like there's some days where I'm like, I just had a kind of a crap day yesterday for the first time in a while. Just some things came up and I was like, like whatever. It was one bad day. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like life isn't like you said. It's not linear. You're never gonna feel perfect. But I had a crap workout in the morning because I had some stuff on my mind. Went back to the gym later and just hammered it out. I didn't just quit on myself.
Yeah.
You know,
That's huge.
and I told my girlfriend, I was like, it was a crap day. I was like, sorry if I was a little like in my head because like I wasn't just emotionally there maybe for that day.
Yeah,
Just
you're
'cause I
just
was
not present. Yeah, you're in your
right.
head. Yeah.
And everything is good now. So
Yep.
it's like, otherwise it'd have been like, oh, I'm going to go on a bender for a week or, you know what I mean? Like those are the old coping mechanisms where people have a choice, like I chose just go back to the gym.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
that was it.
Yep. We write our own story, so no matter
Yeah.
what's in your head, sometimes you're telling yourself a story, and you know what? It's just that. It's words. It's not. You're telling yourself you're this, 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 but you're not. Those are words, and
Right.
you're in a bad place at that time or whatever. Just reframe what and the way you talk to yourself is so important.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we just crucify ourselves, and we would never let someone else talk to us like that. Yeah, we do it to ourselves, brother. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was it Cody makes a great point. It's just like the other thing is like the self-limiting beliefs. I've explained to people like you're capable of so much, right? And your biggest hurdle is you in every situation, right? You're your own worst critic on everything. And once you start learning that, like, man, like you do have control. It's just making those new pathways, those new choices, even though they may be uncomfortable, to better yourself, right? Like, and that's where I see people become very successful post any treatment, whether it be a therapy, psychedelic wise, or even just in-person therapy. Is just making those little changes every day, and it doesn't have to be drastic. Like small goals will get you to the finish line.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's usually not this one big thing that you're going to make a 180 on. It's going to be all of
Right.
these little course corrections. Diet, exercise,
Right.
hormones that ain't in check.
Yeah. I
Journaling,
think
meditation.
and this is for, I'm just going to call this out for your audience of the law enforcement, EMS, veterans, like get your hormones checked.
Yeah,
Most men are going to have low testosterone. And if I'm just telling you, it is going to make your life miserable after the treatment if that is not taken care of, because
Yep.
you're going to have no motivation. You're going to be depressed. I take a small amount every week, um, and it keeps me level. When I went to the VA, my levels were at 75 nanograms a deciliter.
What?
That's like a yeah. I have
Holy
the photo. I have
shit.
screenshots of it. They wouldn't give me. They wouldn't give me the shots. They would just like, "We'll give you the cream." I'm like, "That's not going to fix
What?
it." Like, yeah. So I was a bodybuilder, did all these things. I'm like, I have to be in like the 700 to 1,000 range, and
Yeah.
that's where I feel great. When I start drifting below that, I start feeling like crap.
Yeah.
No, like just foggy, no motivation, like not like excited to do anything. But 700, 1,000, I'll tackle the world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Estrogen
that's one
too.
thing that's yeah,
Estrogen's
absolutely.
off. Yeah, it manifests as like mental health symptoms when in fact it's a physical thing going on with you
Right.
when those levels are off. So huge.
And I think that's something that's very overlooked,
Yeah.
especially because it's like a taboo thing. Oh, well, you take steroids. Like,
Yep.
you produce it naturally.
Exactly.
Like, and at a low dose, it has such a significant impact on your mental health and physical health.
Absolutely.
So
So let me ask you, Mike, when you spoke to, and I'm not asking you what the trauma was, but when you finally sat down and spoke to your parents, where was that in your journey?
that's when I was living in Ohio and I was just a wreck on drugs.
Okay.
It was my third marriage. And one day my mom asked me something and I finally told her. And I know it took her by surprise. And um, it's just one of those things. Like I said, we'll speak offline about it, where it was just a betrayal that really impacted me,
Right.
and it's why my behavior was so erratic from my early childhood through even the post military, because that wasn't taken care of. And I did want to hit on when I went to my ketamine treatment and I laid out my whole story. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's why you have PTSD." It's the military was just the icing on top. It's that it's a very common theme. I know we've spoken about that. It's childhood trauma of some type manifesting later in life.
Yep.
And that is a common theme across the board amongst everybody. And I would say even at um, my treatment with Ambio, it was very common with the group,
Oh yeah.
and similar symptoms of everything.
Yeah.
The drug use, the alcohol, the women, the you just crazy behavior, stemming from something early on.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think I told you a story. I was at a training with GBRS Group a couple of years ago, DJ Shipley's company.
Oh,
DJ and
right,
I,
right, yep,
yeah, got into a discussion at the end of one of the days. Everyone else split. We were just taking down targets. And I had gone for my first ayahuasca journey about a month before. He had gotten his first Ibogaine treatment, I think, in 2019. This was
yeah,
2024. And we just started talking about, we got into a deep discussion about healing journeys. And he's like, yeah, I realized after Ibogaine that all of my trauma was childhood. And I kind of reeled back. I was like, what? You were a Team 6 guy. You've killed men. You've seen your buddies get killed. You've seen carnage on a massive scale. You think all that was childhood trauma? And he's like, you know what? You're right. 5 to 10% is my career. And I was still skeptical. And I was like,
right,
okay. And at that point, I thought all of my stuff was career related. And then coming out of Ibogaine myself, I was like, wow, man, DJ was right. Like all my stuff I realized was childhood
yeah,
trauma. Maybe 5 to
absolutely,
10% was the career. And because I realized that I started putting armor on as a kid to not feel the pain. You know, my dad was a tough dude, verbally abusive. So I
right,
started throwing armor on to not feel. And then I get into that career and there's more and more armor because you can't absorb all this pain you're seeing around you. And eventually,
right,
like you, bro, I didn't feel anything. Like it was
right,
crazy. I could be a triple homicide or lost dog call. My affect was the same. You would not
right.
even know.
And I think I've said that in every relationship I've been in, because it's been an issue. It was an issue. I was like, I don't feel happiness or joy. I don't get excited. Like I can't explain it. I know that sounds crazy, right? But it's very common. And hearing your story, and
Yeah.
my story, it's the same thing. And I think as this medicine and these treatments move forward, like I think it's going to be one of those things that we're like, hey, if there's something happened here, like we got to nip it in the bud early,
Yeah.
you know, just see how it manifests later. But I would say too, I don't. I have seen some of the most horrific things. I mean, you can imagine in war, women and children. I just horrible things to them. Men. None of. Don't think about any of it. Doesn't
Yeah.
bother me. I could see a dead body, bullet holes in them, brains everywhere. It does not bother me. But my relationships and betrayal, that is what destroyed me. There's betrayal in general, right?
Yeah.
That's what the medicine helped with. Clear as day. So
Yeah. I've been dealing with that myself, family betrayal. So I've been getting kind of brought that to the surface deeper than I wanted to go. So I've been dealing with that myself. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with it. It's stuff that needs to get dealt with. And
absolutely.
listen, we're all, there's no dark without light. There's no good without bad. You're going to go through tough times. There's nothing wrong with it. You're going to wake up some days feeling like shit. There's nothing wrong with it. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
But listen, if you don't go through these bad times, how can you value the good ones as much? Like, it just would not mean as much. If you're on
No,
this
absolutely.
just straight linear thing where everything went well for you in life, you feel nothing.
Oh,
It wouldn't matter.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've told people in my life, I'm like, I've lost everything twice in my life. Like, and I filed bankruptcy the second time. Um, it taught me more than anything ever else happened in life, right? It's how to survive, essentially. You know, like, what are you going to do, Mike? Like, how are you going to
Yeah.
get out of this one, you know? And, you know, it's never that linear path straight up of even the healing journey, life in general. So you're going to have those ups and downs. And that's where these groups, these podcasts, the people that have gone through this stuff, that what they share makes such an impact. Because you're like, oh man, I feel that exact same way. How did he
Yep.
get through it, or she get through it? So that's why I'm just grateful for this and the journey that we've both been on, and we'll continue to go on.
Absolutely. It doesn't end. There's no
Yeah,
destination. The entire thing is the journey and what you do with
right.
it. And life's beautiful now, bro. Like, DJ and
Yeah,
I were talking the same thing. Like, we didn't feel anything before. And I'm like, listen,
right,
brother, doesn't matter what uniform you put on, we're human beings first, and we're supposed to feel and love
right.
and feel that wheel of emotions, not just happiness and anger, which are the only two emotions that that we felt at the time or were able to
Yeah,
express.
right. Absolutely. And I think too, it's cool that this is going like mainstream. You know, especially what the government's just done and the things with Texas. I know Florida's big on it right now, and I'll be down there in October, so I'll be in your neighborhood soon.
Yep.
You know, and that's what I'm looking forward to, and just helping others. You know, and if you're watching this and you're struggling, reach out. Just you can DM me anytime. I'm sure my stuff will be on there. You know, I work from home, and I'm an open book if anybody ever has questions on that stuff.
Awesome. That's great to know because someone's going to watch this video and their life's going to be changed. And they're
So,
probably going to want to reach out to you and just confirm that what they're going through um,
right.
is normal, because that's another
Yeah.
thing. We're all going through this. We all think we're alone. We all think everyone else has it figured out. Fucking
Yeah.
no one's got this game figured out. Taylor
Exactly.
Kavanaugh's my mindset coach. And we talk about it all the time. He's like, Mike, I would see Team 6 guys, great careers, come out, go into business world, killing it, think they have everything figured out, and all of a sudden it would implode or explode. And then he's like, two different guys he told me about, and he's like, that's when I realized, man, no one's got this shit figured out. So don't
Yeah.
think they do,
Absolutely.
especially with social
Um,
media.
for me, for everybody, for what I got going on, I'm moving down to Florida here. I'm in Southern California. I'll be training dogs again, working with police departments, doing protection work when I get down there. And then I'll still be selling Pokemon cards to help fund veterans to go get psychedelic treatment. I do that because I see there's a lot of money in it. I have fun doing it, but I'm like, hey, it's something I can do as like a hobby and have
Yeah.
fun and support others. I'm doing my first show in Texas in Kyleen in August. So if you're around, hit me up.
What, you're having your own Pokemon show? Card
I'm
show?
going to a vending, like selling cards.
Okay.
So my
Nice.
girlfriend and I are going down with another veteran, another dog trainer, big time dog trainer, in Texas. And we're like, hey, like he's running a booth, I'm running a booth, and I'm just gonna earn money and support some of the people that need help.
Oh, that's awesome, brother. Yeah, we were
Yep.
talking the other day on the phone, and that was the first time it was brought to my knowledge. Yeah, attention, the fact that Pokemon cards are very lucrative business to be in.
It's insane. I'll share some stuff with you after, but it's crazy, and to me it's like fun, right? It's
Yeah,
just I get to go find these things, right, which is cool. It's a little search, and then the money comes in. It's like, all right, cool. Who can I help?
that's
So
awesome.
it's like it's a double reward
Yeah,
for
it's
for
beautiful,
me.
brother. Really is.
Yeah.
All right, listen, it's been wonderful talking to you. Anything that I hadn't brought up that you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. And I think the big thing is you're not alone. You have people, there's resources. There are two people on this podcast right
Yep,
now you can always reach out to. You are not alone in this. And if you are struggling, if my story sounds like yours, reach out. You're not bothering me. I have helped a lot of people go get treatment. And the worst thing you can do is just push it off
yeah,
because you're not going to get that time back. It's not coming
exactly.
back.
Yep,
So that's one thing I'd leave everyone with.
great advice. All right, Mike. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do so? And all the links will be in the bio as well.
Yeah, so I'm mainly on Instagram. I don't use Facebook. My Instagram handle is the letter M, Mike Leal 275, and then Slabs for four, the number four Heroes is my Pokemon page, and that's starting to get bigger. And I'm starting to make some really good friends in that arena. So if you need anything, hit me up. I'll put my email too in there if anybody needs to email me. But like I said, reach out. The worst thing you can do is just sit there and sit in pain. I've done
Yep,
that. Reach out to any of us, and we'll get you on the right path.
awesome. Great advice, brother. Great speaking to you. Guys, I
You
hope you
too.
liked the episode. If you do, please hit like and subscribe. Mike, I want to thank you again for coming on. It's fantastic speaking to you. And just keep doing what you're doing, brother, because you are definitely changing lives. And listen, one life at a time, man. That's
Yes,
all.
absolutely.
That's all I want to do. So, all
And
right,
thank you
brother.
for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was an honor, bro. So, guys, thanks again. Tune in soon.
Order, shot fired, officer down, shot fired, officer down. Got a city officer down, shot fired.
223, be advised, we have a visual on enemy paratroopers in grid Papa uniforms.
Welcome to the Resilient Warrior Nation, a podcast dedicated to inspiring hope and healing for first responders, military veterans, and anyone facing PTSD and trauma.